Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Cottage Kitchen. We're going to be making a very fast and delicious treat to share together today. And if you're so inclined, this would be the perfect treat to share with other people. Juliet and I are going to be making our candied nuts out of walnuts because we stock up on them locally every autumn when they fall from the tree. But you could certainly substitute in almonds or pecans or hazelnuts. We have planted nut trees over the years, but nothing has come into fruition yet. So we're able to find these locally. Now you could certainly use store-bought nuts and omit this whole procedure, but I find this process kind of therapeutic, getting to smash open the nuts. So much of what we do with homesteading, we can do the hard way until somebody shows us a better way. So it was with me and walnuts. I used to do this every autumn, and I would sit with a little hammer and watch a show and just spend hours getting the nuts outside of these hard shells. Then I ran across an old homesteader who showed me this little trick. Every walnut has a top, and you can see the tip is raised just slightly, and it has what he called a belly button. And if you use a paring knife and just wedge your knife into that little belly button, it's where the shell is soft, and it'll give you a perfect cracked walnut. So after I learned that tip, it made this process that much more fun and that much easier. And I will say, freshly cracked nuts are certainly delicious, but you can use whatever nuts you have on hand. After you crack the nuts, the rest goes really fast. Okay, so we just need a few ingredients for our candied nuts. Of course, we have our beautiful nuts, just a few cups is fine. Then you're gonna need some sort of fat. You could use coconut oil, you could use olive oil, you can also use butter, which is what I'm going to be using today. Then we're going to spice them and sweeten them and slowly roast them in the oven. So let me show you how I make mine. So for these nuts, of course, I want to rely on a good quality nut, a high quality fat like this gorgeous butter, and then also a good quality sweetener. So I'm going to be using dehydrated whole cane sugar, also known as sucanate or rapadura, and it has a little bit of a grainy texture. I've gone ahead and melted my butter. I'm going to stir in about half a cup of sugar, and then I'm also going to add just a few tablespoons of maple syrup for a little bit of additional sweetener. It also has that sticky element when it mixes with the butter, which is going to help all of our spices stick to the outside of our nuts. All right, in addition to our butter and our sugar, I'm going to be spicing my nuts, and this is really where you can play up what you individually like to eat in your own kitchen. I'm going to be spicing my nuts with a really fragrant sweet cinnamon, some ground ginger, and some clove powder, along with some vanilla extract for some warmth. So this is what, and salt. Don't forget a little pinch of salt because it does bring out the sweetness of the nuts. So this is how I like to spice mine. I would love to hear in the comments below the video what you like on yours.
We would once again like to thank Kamikoto for being the sponsor of today's video. Long before we had a YouTube channel, these were the knives that I had in my kitchen. So when I get emails from people saying, hey, what knives do you use? It's easy. I use Kamikoto knives, and they've been kind enough to extend $50 off of your first Kamikoto knife purchase using the code EHOME. I'll put a link to that below. These are Japanese steel knives that are forged by Japanese master craftsmen, and the result is a shockingly sharp knife that's easy to clean, that fits perfectly in your hands, and that are made to last an entire lifetime. Michelin star chefs around the world use these knives because of the blade's wonderful precision and dexterity. They feel good in your hand, and they would look really good under the Christmas tree. So use the link below and code EHOME for $50 off.
All right, our candied nuts have just one more ingredient, and this is an important one. It's egg white. The egg white coats the outside of the walnut and helps everything to stick to it. Walnuts are actually the perfect nut for this because they've got all those little ridges and nooks and crannies where the cinnamon and the vanilla can tuck in, and that's delicious. That's what we want. This is why this is a treat. So my egg whites are going to go right into my butter mixture. I'll save those yolks for something else. I'm gonna use 2 egg whites. And that's it. 1 pan, some pantry staples, mix it all together. All right, Juliet's been hard at work over here. You've done a really great job. She has shelled a couple of cups of walnuts here, and these are gonna go right in. We're just gonna toss them all together. I have my oven preheated to 300 degrees. Now, the only trick I have found to candied nuts, because you do have so much freedom when it comes to how sweet you'd like them or what spices you would like, is that they really taste best when they're slow roasted. So even though it only takes a few minutes to whip them up on this side, you need to give them about an hour in an oven. And every 15 minutes, which is what, so you'd have to do that 3 times, come by and give them a stir just to make sure that they're cooking evenly. And you don't want them to burn. So we're gonna keep the temperature fairly low, and that's gonna slowly roast them, toast the nuts a little bit, and make it all gooey and fragrant. Whether you're making these spiced Christmas nuts for yourself or for a gift for your friends, I hope you enjoy. Cheers.